If you're buying a business, you'll need to understand what the company owes and to whom. Loan agreements, overdrafts, and charges all stay with the company after the deal completes and could jeopardize your long-term plans. I'm Malcolm Zoppi, an M&A solicitor, and in this video, we'll discuss finance due diligence. We will look at what loan agreements and charges actually are, what you need to check before buying, and what documents to request from the seller. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to assess a company's borrowing arrangements, and you will know what to look for and how to avoid inheriting financial liabilities that could catch you off guard. So here's the thing that most buyers overlook. The company's existing lender may have a say in whether the deal goes ahead or not. And if you're borrowing money to fund the completion payment, the seller's existing charges could conflict with your own lender's security requirements. So how do you navigate this? Well, let's get started. Finance due diligence focuses on the company's borrowing arrangements. This includes any loans the company has taken out, overdraft facilities, and charges registered on the company's house. Finance due diligence is not to be confused with financial due diligence, which the latter focuses on the financial performance of the company. For example, whether it is profitable or not. Now, when you buy a company through a share purchase, you inherit everything related to that company. That includes its debts and obligations to lenders. So you need to know exactly what commitments are in place with the company. A charge is a form of security that a lender takes over the company's assets. If the company defaults on their loan, then the lender can enforce that security, sell off that asset to recoup the money that is owed. So you need to understand what charges exist and what assets are covered by those charges. So this matters even more if you're using finance to fund the acquisition. Your lender is very likely going to want to have some kind of security over the assets of the company. And if there is already existing charges in place, there could be a conflict. And getting this wrong could delay or even derail the deal completely. Fantastic, so now let's go through the key areas that you need to investigate when conducting finance due diligence. Start by asking the sellers and the directors of the company what loan agreements the company is a party to. Loan agreement doesn't need to be in writing. An agreement could be verbal, especially when it's made between, let's say, a director or a shareholder and the company they are connected to. So this includes things like bank loans, shareholder loans, and any informal lending arrangements. For each loan, you'll want to know the principal amount that is owed, the interest rate, and the repayment terms. Do not overlook loans from people connected to the sellers. These are common in smaller companies and often have unusual terms. Secondly, check who is the lender. It matters whether the lender is a bank, an institutional lender, or someone connected to the sellers. If the loan is from the sellers or their associates, you need to understand what happens to it on completion. So, for example, will the loan be repaid? Will it be left in place? If it's left in place, what are going to be the repayment terms, what is going to be the interest rate, and what terms and conditions are attached to that loan. Thirdly, you'll want to check for each loan what are the repayment terms. So for example, is there a fixed repayment date? Is it going to be an installment? Or can the lender demand repayment at any time? So if there are loans that are repayable on demand, this is a huge risk because the lender could call in the debt after the deal completes, and if you don't have enough money or the company doesn't have enough money to pay back the lender the whole amount, that could put the company into insolvency. Fourth, review all charges and security. Search the company's house register for any charges registered against the company. A charge gives the lender the right over specific assets if the company defaults. So you'll want to check what assets are covered by each charge. A common example is a floating charge over all the assets of the company or a fixed charge over specific property or equipment. So you need to understand the priority of each charge as well. Fifth, check for conflicts with your own lender. As mentioned, if you're borrowing money to fund the purchase, your lender will likely want to be the first in priority. Existing charges could block this, so you need to establish whether the existing charges will be released on completion or whether your lender is willing to take a lower priority position. 6. Check whether the company is a guarantor. It is very much possible for a company, a limited company, to act as a guarantor for a borrower, even if the borrower is taking out money in a transaction that is unrelated to what the company actually does. So you want to find out whether the company has guaranteed the debts of any other person or business. A guarantee is a contingent liability. That means that if the original borrower defaults, is unable to pay their loan back, then the guarantor, the company, has to step up and pay instead. This could have serious consequences after you take ownership of the company. Now, before we discuss the documents that you'll want to inspect, feel free to email me if looking for professional legal advice. With our legal advice clause, there are no charges, no obligations, there's going to be no nonsense. Contact me now at info@zoppi.co.uk. Here are the key documents that you should request. Firstly, of course, it will be the loan agreement. We want to ask for copies of every loan agreement the company is a party to. For example, in relation to a director's loan, you'll want to ask the sellers to put something in place before completion, and of course for you to be able to review that document. For each of these documents, make sure to read the terms carefully, paying attention to repayment dates, change of control provisions, and any active obligations on the company. For example, to have a specific insurance cover in place. Secondly, check any charge documents in debentures. A debenture is a document that creates a charge for the company's assets. Review each one to understand what security is in place and what assets are already taken by existing lenders. And lastly, very importantly, is review the company's books. The financial account and the books of the company should detail any liability that the company has, to whom that liability is owed, and what payments have been made. This will usually also include any loans between the directors and the company. And that is how you conduct finance due diligence when buying a business. And in the next video, we'll cover commercial due diligence, including how to review customer and supplier contracts. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you do not miss any future videos. See you in the next one.